Welcome back. We're going to talk about Classic 11A, and that's skipping a lot of version numbers. I'm going to show you guys the respawn thing in a minute, but this is a nice little area I made in the last snapshot, because I just thought it'd be better for showing stuff off. So of course I already mentioned in the past that there are a bunch of versions like not archived before the first video I made for these, and there's a few that weren't archived after the last one. There were 4 snapshots between the Ruby Dung prefix and Classic that were titled with MC whatever. I'm going to put those up on screen, but basically all these collectively, including Classic, they were referred to as Alpha at the time, but what we know as Alpha now is that came out in I think mid-2010, and all of these that we've seen so far are in May 2009 over the course of a week. The only notable thing aside from bug fixes for the MC versions is 16.16.16 added a Y-axis invert on the mouse. You just press the Y button, and that's that. To show you the rest of the things, I sadly have to get rid of this whole nice display area I made because I actually have to restart the level file. Here we are with a fresh world. The terrain generation obviously looks a little bit different. We'll get to that in a second. So a lot of the info, if you go on the wiki pages, I can't really link to all of this stuff necessarily through my video, but I'll see what I can put in the description. All this info comes from old IRC chat logs between Notch and the early testers he had, which was like 2 or 3 people. So let's start going over classic versions. 1A basically just add the version number in the upper left, which I'm sure you already saw in the first part of the video. 2A, Notch made a testing link basically, and he opened it up to a lot more people in the server. Oh, this is good timing. 3A added caves, like this one. And this is, honestly, it looks a lot like the cave generation we see in modern Minecraft. It doesn't look significantly different shape-wise, and this is, I mean, it's really cool to see it this early, actually. Now, one thing that was also brought up in 3A, once he opened this world up to different people testing it, somebody noticed a bug where you can place a block in the same space that you're standing, basically. I actually noticed this in the last version, and I'll put the video up. Yeah, basically, if you're looking downwards, you could place a block where you're standing, which, as you can see, you can no longer do. And you'd be stuck in the block, you can move around, and the other thing I did is, let's see, you could place 2 in a row, and then you could see all the way through the block, and it was the same deal. But once you stepped out, it would become solid again, and you would just collide right with it. So that was fixed in 4A, that was the only thing really notable about that, and we don't really know anything about versions 5 through 8A. Version 9A added the new planks, which we saw previously, but now this is actually the version they came from, so they're supposed to be here. Some other things 9A did was it added, again in the upper right you can see frames per second and chunk updates, which I gotta say, these are some ludicrous FPS numbers. I know this is a very non-resource intensive game at this point, but that's ridiculous. Hundreds of frames per second. I've never... Anyway, they also reduced the screen resolution from 1024 by 768 to 640 by 480, and I don't know why he made it smaller. And I might expand this for a second, because in my recording, for some reason, the whole, right fifth of the screen is just a solid blue block, so the default window size isn't even all showing me content. I'm gonna have to spawn some mobs for this next version. So basically, in 10A, what he had was escape releases the mouse, so I'm actually going around my desktop right now, and clicking on other things, and god, this is really weird. I don't know why he set up this combination of keys, but to actually pause the game, you need F10, escape, and alt, which is why I need to show the humans. I don't think I pressed that right. Yeah, so as you can see, I stopped moving, and that's how you actually pause the game, which is it is a ridiculous acrobatic exercise to press all three of those keys at once, but whatever works, I guess. And actually, you don't even have to press the combination again to get back into the game. You can just press escape again, it looks like, or just click with the cursor. Let me try this again. So, escape gets you back in, and clicking. Escape unpauses, and clicking gives you control of the mouse again. If you just hit escape, it's still released. The other thing 10A added was right-click toggles between placing and destroying blocks, which is just such a better system than what we had before. I'm really happy with it. And of course, there's a fully white overlay instead of on just one face of the block for when you want to destroy it. The other thing, I forgot to mention this during the 9A part, but you can see here the saplings are, this is how they should have looked in the last snapshot. So up through this version, up through I think 13, they're supposed to look like this, and for whatever reason in the launcher they just used a later version. 11A is basically the same as 10A, except it fixed a major glitch that 10A had, so it was released like 4 minutes later, where basically a whole game would crash if you tried to switch between these two modes. I think that's what the glitch was. You can see that more specifically on the wiki, and they also have the links to the old forum posts where first public version of Minecraft was posted. They have the old IRC chat log links where you can see where Notch and the very earliest alpha testers were testing this game, and again, all these versions are now referred to as old alpha in the launcher. And yeah, I think there's even somebody managed to archive a video of somebody testing that game for the first time, somebody other than Notch. So I'll try to leave a link for that here, and I mean, that's pretty much it for this version. I highly recommend you check out the especially 9A and 11A pages on the wiki because they have great screenshots from the time, and I just want to jump off the world border again to show you can see the caves. Anyway, I'll catch you next week. See ya.